Your need for something outside of you to be successful is the very reason why you're stuck believing that you need something beyond yourself to get to where you want to go. Now, this isn't to say outside tools, skills, resources, people, etc. aren't helpful or important. They are. But the more you feel you need something that you don't have, the more you're going to feel the lack of which you don't have, and you're going to be defined and controlled by that thing you need, which will then lead to you doing the things that you think will get you that thing you need just to end up back to where you were, or worse off, more unfulfilled, more displeased and incompetent and unconfident in yourself. It all starts with inside. And when you can begin to build a belief around you are capable enough to be able to move forward without extrinsic things, meaning you can leverage your mindset and shift your perspective, the more opportunity you will find for the right things that will be helpful. But it comes down to letting go of your need for outside extrinsic pieces of the puzzle, so to speak, to be the very reason that you're going to be successful. It's like if we are holding on to a balloon, and the more weight we put on that balloon, the less it's going to go up in the air, and over time, the more it's going to sink. That is a similar concept of the more we grip onto this thing we need or these things we need, the more we're going to fall down, the more we're going to stay stuck, and we're not going to be able to lift off the ground. We have to develop a level of surrendering and a level of faith into the idea that everything starts with inside. Once we can shift our perspective, shift our psychology, then we'll be able to show up in a manner that is congruent to where we want to go. And so the first piece of this puzzle is understanding, what is it that you're working towards? For what purpose do you believe you need these things? Why? What are you working towards? And anyone that says, I don't have a purpose, then by default, your purpose is to discover your purpose. And the way to discover your purpose is to start by improving yourself inside and out as your first purpose. That is what you're focused on, is becoming a better version of yourself. And then it's being drawn towards things. What are you drawn towards? What do you naturally gravitate towards? What do you feel called to do, to experience? That combo of developing yourself from the inside out and going towards what you feel called to or drawn to will help you discover the things that light you up, the things that you're interested in. Values will shift and evolve as you experience more. And by virtue of exploring these paths, you will stumble upon one day your higher purpose, which may be to serve other people in a different capacity. It may be something outside of you. There's nothing wrong with starting internally by saying, my purpose is to become a better version of myself. Because by virtue of doing that, you affect everyone you come across. You affect everyone that you come encounter with. And all the things that you do are more aligned because you're more coherent, more conscious, more intentional, that then you'll start to discover, oh, when I do this, it creates that makes me feel good in some kind of way, and that I want to do more of that. It'll help you find your purpose. Now, once you have your purpose, it's really important to figure out, what is the mission? What are you trying to accomplish in the next 5 or 10 years? So our purpose is our someday thing. It's, what we like to do, is what we feel called to do. Maybe someday we'd love to have this massive shift in the world. Okay, cool. Let's bring that down more to the ground. The purpose is up in the clouds. Let's bring that down into the ground level. The next 5 to 10 years. What is that goal? What is our mission? What is our objective to accomplish in the next 5 or 10 years? Because from there, we can start breaking those things down into yearly and all the way down to daily bite-sized chunks that are more practical. They're more tactical and feasible. And as a mentor told me, when things are tactical, they're practical. And so when we get into this idea that we need all these things to be successful, to help us get out of our circumstances, it's a paradox. That need is the very thing keeping you where you are. And when we can get outside of that, when we can think outside of our circumstances and think of a grand purpose, a someday goal or objective, and then work our way back to now, we can start to see what is actually important based on where we want to go. The problem here is most of us get conditioned. We have these suggestions that are given to us from the time we're born to the time we watch this video and we realize, well, maybe I don't want to do that thing. Or why do I feel like I need to do this when I feel called to do that? It's because of the suggestions that have been running through our mind that become a story, and that story is on loop, and we're not even aware of it. We say things, we're thinking things, and this dialogue goes in our brain that creates a belief system. And when we believe we need to do something, or we need something that is outside of us, that need will control us, and it will direct us to do all the things that by virtue get us that need, or perceive that will get that need. And then we can wind up, back stuck where we started or worse off. And it's because we're not clear on what's going on internally and then where we're going externally or someday. It all starts with understanding whatever you believe you need will control you. The question is, why do you believe you need that? Where did you learn that? How did you come to that conclusion? What stories have you heard and told yourself over time that have said, I need X? And anyone can relate to this, because when we think about a problem or when we get sick, we think we need to sleep more, we need to rest more. Those are what we could say are congruent, aligned needs, because the body is run down, it's sick, it's tired, it needs rest. But that concept is so overused in other areas of life that aren't actual needs. They're just desires, they're wants, they're intentions, which are no right or wrong, they just are. The difference is, if someone is feeling stuck, they're feeling burnt out, exhausted, in survival mode, or like they're never doing enough, or they can never be doing enough, or the efforts they're doing aren't moving the needle and they're just, not making any progress or not feeling any momentum. And the question is, well, why do you think you need to do that? Why do you think you need those things? Because at the end of the day, when we say we have a problem, typically most of us just look at the surface of a piece of evidence that is deeper rooted of the problem. And when we can start to get into the questions of why, for what purpose, how does this serve me? How does this goal serve me? Why do I think I need that? Why do I believe I need that? Why do I feel I need that? When we can start asking these questions, we can go internally, and that's going to bring up a level of discomfort. Most of us are conditioned to avoid discomfort. That's the mediocre society we've created, where it's a world of blaming and complaining and not taking accountability and not letting people hold their standards or hold their commitments. So we let people slip. We live in a world today that says it's okay to not show up as your best. It's okay to just do less and complain more. But since you're watching this video, I guarantee that's not how you operate, and that's not what you want in your life. So if you feel like you need all these things and you're trying to pursue all these things, but you're not getting anywhere, I would ask you, when is it enough? When is enough? At what point are you going to not create momentum or create the inverse, and you're going to be going backwards consistently enough to wake up and realize, maybe this intention isn't serving me. Maybe this belief system isn't serving me. Maybe the thing I need is not serving me. Maybe it could be something else. Because what I find with my clients and myself is, the more that we think this is a problem to solve, that becomes the problem. It's this idea that we're not enough. We need something extrinsically outside of us to make us better. Not to say things can't improve us, but if we have a mindset of lack, if we don't believe we're competent enough or capable enough or good enough, that's going to lead to self-sabotage every single time until we create awareness. I've created videos on awareness in the past. You go check them out. I'll create more in the future. But simply speaking, when we have a problem, it's typically something we label that is actually evidence of a deeper rooted problem. That's where it's important to audit, to question. And so if this is where you feel you are, I have various resources for free, like a performance audit, a self-sabotage audit. Just comment audit below and I'll send it to you for free. I also have a weekly newsletter that goes out that helps people tactically break down what's going on, starting with their psychology and then how to move forward. Something I alluded to, kind of briefly walk through in this video, is a priority planning protocol. It's something that was taught to me and that I teach my clients. It's something I utilize myself, and it's to help the feeling of needing to do all these things to be successful. It helps rid ourselves of that. It helps free up our mental, emotional, physical, and spiritual bandwidth. So that way, when we start to tactically plan based on our priorities, then we can audit, does this thing actually matter? Or is that just a suggested conditioned belief of mine that I need to meditate every day to be successful? I need to journal. I need to do all these things that other successful people say they do. but it's not working for me. Why is that so? It always comes down to an internal dialogue and a pair of the internal dialogue with the nervous system and our conditioning. And it's tricky to work around. We can only do so much on our own. Because you're here watching this video, it tells me that you're driven to improve and to get outside of your circumstances, and you're already thinking outside of your circumstances. Maybe you just need some extra support. That's what I love to do, is these different audits, or if it's my coaching or workshops, these videos, it's to help discover blind spots. Because at the end of the day, if we can't see something that's running the show and creating a problem for us, then we have no chance of solving it. That's why questions are so important. That's why pausing is so important, because we get caught up in the day-to-day, responsibility and to do and endless, being pulled this way and that way with our attention and all these things, that we don't take much time to create space, to be creative, to just think. And when we do, we're trained to avoid that discomfort, because we may not like the thoughts and the feelings and the emotions that come up. So then we are taught to avoid them, suppress them, override them. But that's not what's going to help us get to where we want to go. And even if we get to where we want to go, that lack of dealing with what comes up is going to be the very thing that sabotages us moving down the line. And we can't control our outcomes, but we can control our inputs. And when we control our inputs, we increase the probability of experiencing the life that we want. So if this is something that's interesting to you, let me know below. Comment below. If you're interested in one of the audits, comment performance or sabotage. I'll get you one of the audits for free. If you're interested in a workshop for your team, comment workshop below. If you're interested in one-on-one coaching, just write coaching below. We'll hop on a free consultation call. We'll figure out what's going on, what's holding you back, what barriers are holding you back, and maybe map out a plan of how I could help you, if I can help you, or recommend another resource. If you think this video could be helpful to someone that you know, share it with them. Let them know. This is about creating a global impact of empowerment and change. And so the more people that see this, the more we collectively improve and we create a better society. So yeah, my name is Josh Perry. I appreciate you being here. If you're interested in more of these videos, hit subscribe, put that bell notification thing on, comment below if you want to have a dialogue. I have plenty of resources to share, and I'll see you in the next video.